Yesterday I preached about the story of Doubting Thomas and the story right before it and the story right before that. So the first story is Mary Magdalene finding an empty tomb and Jesus approaching her, and how she didn't recognize it was Jesus until he called her by name. And then the next story has Jesus appearing to the 10 of the 11 remaining disciples, and he breathes on them and says, receive the Holy Spirit. If you forgive anyone's sins, they're forgiven. If you don't, they aren't. And then we go into the Doubting Thomas story, where somebody, namely Thomas, has trouble believing the truth of Christ's resurrection because he hasn't seen it with his own eyes and heard it with his own ears. And I said that those stories together give us, as Jesus' disciples, the power, the authority, the responsibility to look people in the eye on Jesus' behalf, call them by name, and tell them their sins are forgiven. And on the way out of worship yesterday morning, a woman thanked me for my message and told me how more than 50 years ago she had to get married, and how her father had told her that she didn't deserve a fancy wedding dress. And I had the privilege to look her in the eye and call her by name, and on the authority that Jesus gives all of us in John 20:23, I got to tell her that her Holy Father didn't look at her that way, that her Father in heaven loved her and wanted her. I don't know what kind of stuff you hold on to or the people around you hold on to, but I want you to know that Jesus gives us the privilege and the authority to look one another in the eye, to call each other by name, and to pronounce sins forgiven. May you free someone this week from the bondage to sins that have held them back in whatever way for maybe 50 or 60 years. You can't know how long, but you can know this: God has given you and me the authority to forgive sins. So let's get to it.